Welcome to the 2013 Carroll Awards. Hello, my name is Peter Soklas, and I will be your narrator for this film. The producers of this film are Shubhashish Acharya and Shomita Acharya, a husband and wife team from Lowell, Massachusetts. They make films to advocate for the blind and make them accessible to everyone who wants to get educated and involved. They have also launched a social startup nonprofit called Project Starfish America. It is a platform where they teach visually impaired people to connect with mainstream businesses, to gain work experience and be productive. They can make an income and build their resume and also increase the awareness of blindness in society. On June 6, 2013, the Carroll Center for the Blind in Newton, Massachusetts hosted an award ceremony for its top members in the field of blindness. The awards were bestowed upon 5 members who, despite their challenges and handicaps, have performed and excelled at their work. We took our camera and interviewed the awardees to get an insight into their lives and how they made things happen. Our sincere belief and intent is to inspire you from these successful people. You never know how many people might get motivated to take action and then reach for their dreams. This film will last for 30 minutes, including the award ceremony and interviews with all of the winners. First, I'd like to describe the venue. The room is filled with an audience of more than 100 people who are facing the podium and a large projection screen. In front of and below the screen are seated the award winners, along with John Oliveira, Massachusetts Assistant Commissioner for the Blind, and Joe Abley, CEO of the Carroll Center for the Blind. Now let me introduce the MC, Dina Rosenbaum, Director of Marketing and Admissions for the Carroll Center for the Blind. Dina is dressed in a beautiful blue and white dress.
My name is Dina Rosenbaum. I'm Director of Marketing at the Carroll Center for the Blind, and I'm your MC for today. The Carroll Awards campaign is a joint effort between the Carroll Center for the Blind, a private, nonprofit agency providing rehabilitation and training to those struggling with vision loss, and the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind, the agency that directs all state services for legally blind persons in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The purpose of this campaign is to publicly acknowledge the achievements and contributions that are being made by persons in the workforce who happen to be blind or visually impaired. The Carroll Awards were named in honor of the late Reverend Thomas J. Carroll. So we're happy to have John Oliveira, Assistant Commissioner from the Mass Commission for the Blind, here to welcome everyone.
Thank you, Dina. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming, and great to have a full house here. So one of the most important things in anyone's life, all of our lives, is obviously obtaining employment. Achieving that goal of getting that job. And the employment opportunity creates other opportunities that allows you to participate and integrate into the community that you live in. When you meet someone, you always, the question right after your name usually is, what do you do? And we all know that for 70% of folks who are blind and visually impaired, what do you do oftentimes means, well, I volunteer, or I'm a homemaker, or, and unfortunately in many cases, nothing. And that sort of throws that whole conversation off. And that's what this is all about. The Carroll Awards is to celebrate the employment, the opportunity that these folks have to work in a profession, work at a job that allows them to participate, allows them to integrate into their community, and so that when someone asks them, what do you do, they have an answer. And from that answer often comes, so what does program analysts do? What does a computer programmer do? What kind of social work do you do? And that turns the whole conversation. And by the time you're done, and I met someone once and they said, sometimes I feel uncomfortable asking a blind person what do they do, because so many of them that they had met didn't work. And that's something that a partnership between Mass Commission for the Blind and the Carroll Center, the services that we purchase from the Carroll Center and that their staff provide to our consumers, and the services that we provide at MCB. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change that answer so that when someone asks them your name and what do you do, that they're able to say, I work.
Hello, this is Peter Soklas, and I am your narrator for this film. You are watching the 2013 Carroll Awards, which was filmed at the Carroll Center for the Blind in Newton, Massachusetts.
Today's award recipients represent a wide variety of professions and occupations. They have demonstrated that blind persons can and do work competitively in their jobs. But these individuals are not being honored just because they hold these positions. We are recognizing them today because they perform their jobs with the highest degree of skill and competence. And in doing so, they have contributed to the success of their organizations.
Our first awardee is Jay Blake, president and founder of Follow a Dream. Here is Dina Rosenbaum, who is standing at the podium to talk about Jay and his inspiring journey.
Jay Blake is president of Follow a Dream, Inc., a nonprofit he started in 1999. In a split second, your life can change. That is what happened to Jay Blake in 1997 while working on a forklift at the age of 31. One of the tires exploded while he was working on it, and Jay lost his sight, his sense of smell and taste, and almost his life. My life, as I knew it, was over. My whole life was cars and trucks. It was from the age of 3 that Jay started playing with tools and tractors, and I mean real tools, not like kids' tools, right? He was always mechanical, and he followed his older brother's footsteps into the world of cars and trucks. His professional career started as a technician at a Ford dealership. Jay grew up in Wayland and was one of 4 children to Gary and Mary Blake. Today, 15 years after his accident, Jay serves as crew chief and president of Follow a Dream Alcohol's Fun Club. He is the only totally blind crew chief in the worldwide sport of auto racing. When Jay returned home to Cape Cod, he began to pursue his dream of owning a professional auto racing team. He soon learned that even without his sight, he was able to do what he loved most, work on racing engines. During a typical race, Jay is an active member of the crew, performing such duties as setting up spark plugs, assembling and deassembling the left side of the engine, starting the race car, and managing his crew.
And now an interview with Jay Blake. We were lucky to have Jay's wife and mother in the interview as well. Jay is wearing a red, yellow, and blue shirt, typical of race car technicians. His shirt also has the name of his company, Follow a Dream.
I am a motivational speaker, and I speak on a presentation called 5 Tools for Your Life's Toolbox, and how a positive attitude, determination, teamwork, education, and passion can give you the tools to reach your goals and your dreams. My dream as a child was to work on a professional drag racing team, and at the age of 31, I was in an accident that caused me to lose my sight, and a friend of mine invited me to Reading, Pennsylvania for an NHRA drag race, and while I was at the drag race, I realized that I could still enjoy the sport that I dreamed of, and that I was not capable of continuing my career as an auto and truck technician, so I was going to start my own race team, and that's what started Follow a Dream. And Follow a Dream grew. I ran into lots of hurdles, being blind, trying to start my own business, especially involving race cars, as people didn't quite understand how a blind person would be capable of doing this. But I did not let the negative feedback I got deter me from my goals, and I continued to work forward and educate myself and form Follow a Dream, and then put together a championship team.
We also want to add some words from Scott, who summed up Jay's work. Scott is a vocational rehabilitation counselor for the Mass Commission for the Blind. Over to you, Scott.
With Jay, obviously he had a very significant trauma that his whole identity got taken away from him. But the amazing thing about Jay is he was willing to challenge the identity of without sight and recognize that he's not his eyes. And the perseverance, and he told me the first time I met him, he said the only disability is a poor attitude. So I think that perseverance that he has allowed him to follow his dream and continue on to be successful. And I'm just lucky to work with him.
Follow your dream.
The next awardee is Rosalind Nader. She works as the policy liaison for Mass Health.
Ros Nader works as policy liaison in the Central Processing Unit of Mass Health. She's the liaison between the policy work groups of the executive branch of state government and the frontline human service employees who process applications for medical benefits from the general public. Ros was born prematurely, and because of too much oxygen at birth, she developed retinopathy of prematurity. This left her with impaired vision, but sufficient to do most activities successfully throughout her life. Ros grew up in Dorchester and attended public schools, using glasses and magnifiers, which made her schoolwork a bit more challenging, but she adapted as needed. She earned her bachelor's degree from Boston University in 1971 and was hired soon after by the Commonwealth in the Department of Transition Assistance. She advanced through several positions in the Commonwealth over the years, gaining considerable experience and knowledge in policy and procedures for state-administered programs, earning her the opportunity to serve in her current position since 1995. The Commission for the Blind has provided Ros with a variety of adaptive technologies to help her on her job, while training in the use of the devices was provided by the Carroll Center.
And now an interview with Rosalind Nader. She is dressed in a red top, white pants, and a dark blue coat.
The Carroll Center people are so devoted. I think they live, sleep, and breathe how to help people. Commission for the Blind helped me with all kinds of assistive devices. And I'm still getting my mobility training, continuation of mobility training, and technical instruction from the Carroll Center at work. Oh, please don't give up, because there are experiences out there that you never even think of.
Thank you, Rosalind. Now let us present the next awardee, Martha Steele. Martha works as the Deputy Director for the Bureau of Environmental Health.
Martha Steele is the Deputy Director of the Bureau of Environmental Health, whose mission is to protect the public from environmental health hazards in the water, soil, and atmosphere. Martha assists the Bureau Associate Commissioner with administrative and technical functions for all 9 programs administered by the Bureau. That includes approximately 150 persons, and she serves as the director in her absence. She provides guidance and assistance to all the program directors. She is responsible for the federally funded programs with the Center for Disease Control for environmental public health tracking, and she oversees the registry for toxic substances and diseases as it relates to state and federal hazardous waste sites. Martha grew up in Burlington, Vermont, and was diagnosed at an early age with a hearing loss. So growing up a hearing impaired child, she was fitted with hearing aids. She graduated from the University of Vermont, Phi Beta Kappa, in 1980, and earned a master's degree in public health from the University of Michigan in 1982. After graduation, she began employment with the Mass Department of Public Health as a senior toxologist. Recognized for her talent and commitment to excellence, she was later promoted to program manager and then to regional manager, prior to her appointment to her current position in 1995. But in more recent years, the field of vision has become so small that she realized she needed professional help. The Mass Commission for the Blind provided an array of services, including the Carroll Center for the Blind, where she received mobility training for safe travel, and she attended the Carroll Center's residential rehabilitation program, where she is grateful for the adaptive techniques for daily living she learned, but also for the experience to interact and share with other blind and visually impaired persons, an important component in the rehabilitation process.
And now an interview with Martha Steele. Martha is impeccably dressed in a blue coat and pants with a red shirt and a red and pink scarf.
We have some concern about environmental exposures, and so it's a tremendous amount of work. How do I keep up with it? A lot of times I think I don't. But you have to keep moving, and you have to triage every single day. You triage with your colleagues. If I have 10 different things I'm supposed to get done within the hour, I sit down and I think, okay, who can do number one? Who can do number two? Who can do number three? How can I tell them what they need to do? And how can I give them direction to get the information that we need? And, you know, that's kind of how you do it. And I do have to do a lot of reading. I have now transitioned a lot to JAWS in terms of using JAWS almost exclusively now with email. I receive at least 100 to 200 emails a day. As I start learning new tools such as JAWS and Zoom Text and Braille and all that, it will make it a little bit easier as I go along, and you learn to delegate as much as you can, and you work hard. I guess my feeling is blindness is just a characteristic. I see it as a part of me, but it's not the defining part of me. The bottom line at the end of the day, and at the bottom, and I really believe this, it is who you are and how you interact with people that really matters. And you know, I'm blind, but it's an inconvenience, and I just have to work around it. But the bottom line is that I am capable of loving, and I am capable of accepting love. And I think there's nothing greater than that.
Thanks a lot, Martha. Martha was joined by her husband today. I'm sure everyone agrees that loving and being loved is the most important thing in life. The next awardee is Myra Ross, College Advisor for Amherst Regional High School.
Myra is the College Advisor in the Guidance Office at Amherst Regional High School, where she has provided counseling and support to about 2,000 students as they transfer from high school into college. Her assistance is frequently recognized by appreciative graduates and parents who stop her on the street to thank her for her role in their success. Myra's contribution to our high school district and community have extended beyond her influence as a counselor. Myra was born with various malformations of the eyes and developed glaucoma, which destroyed her 2400 vision in the good eye. By the time she was 16, she could no longer read, and at age 31, her other eye is retina detached irreparably. She could no longer see crosswalks or buildings across the street. It was shortly after this time that she came to the Carroll Center. Living and working in the mainstream has been a lifetime pursuit for Myra. As a child, she received her education in the public schools in Levittown, Long Island, where she enjoyed an integrated education that was unusual for the time. Myra encourages people with visual disabilities to learn as much technology as they can, and to find a place where they can volunteer in a way they really care about, making themselves indispensable until others see how good they are. Now approaching retirement, Myra plans to work for a few more years, then play more violin and see more of her family, which now includes 2 grandchildren. 2 of her children have inherited her eye condition and are legally blind. Her son, a blind public interest attorney, had a fellowship with a firm that worked for the National Federation of the Blind. Her daughter has devised unique music reading systems utilizing the iPad and music software, thus enabling her to perform professionally in the Boston area. Myra feels grateful for the opportunities she's had. She now has the job she always wanted and can walk to work.
And now an interview with Myra Ross. Myra is dressed in a navy blue dress with a green and blue coat.
Well, I was a blind adult, unemployed for many years. It started Well, when I went into the potential workforce, there was no computer access. There was very little that that I could do in the field that I wanted to do because I couldn't read. And now it's very, very different. The world is really opening up. So I think that whereas it used to be that there weren't all that many things that blind people could do successfully without a lot of help, now there really are. There is so much information access out there that I think people really should think about what it is that will make them happy and learn how to do it very well. Volunteer, in other words, give it away to somebody who wants it, and make a reputation for yourself as somebody who has some definite skills, and those people will help you find something that you will get paid with. I still think it's more difficult for blind people to find work. I mean, it is more difficult. You have to be twice as good to go half as far, but you can do it. And I think that you just have to believe in yourself and wait until your opportunity comes. But get good at something and have other people know it.
Thanks, Myra, for taking the time to share with us. Now it's time to hear from Ginny Fairley, Director of Independent Living Services. She is beautifully dressed in a white, purple, and olive-colored dress with a light teal jacket. She is always cheerful and has a wonderful sense of humor. She is also a great speaker who can keep you spellbound for hours at a stretch. But first, let's learn a bit more about Ginny from Dina Rosenbaum, who is at the podium.
Jeannie grew up in Providence and had no vision problems as a child except for astigmatism. She earned a bachelor's degree from Emmanuel College, and after graduation worked as a computer programmer and systems analyst for IBM and EDS. And in 1994, she was declared legally blind. She was then faced with an even greater tragedy when her husband passed away. Now, without a husband, legally blind, unable to drive or earn a living, and had to raise 5 young children. She started a small computer business from home to bring in some income, but she felt that she really needed to get out into the competitive job market if she was to successfully provide for her family. As her vision diminished further, she realized too that although she was very familiar with computers, how they worked and what they could do, she really needed to learn how to use a computer as a blind person. With support from the Mass Commission for the Blind, she attended the Carroll Center's Independent Living Program and Office Skills Training, where she acquired the skills needed for competitive employment.
Thank you, Dina. And now an interview that we conducted with Ginny Fairley after the ceremony.
I started several organizations, and it developed me into an advocate, actually. I didn't start out that way, but it developed me into an advocate, seeing a need and making the changes to make that happen. Borrowing somebody's eyes is what I say. Borrow my eyes to see this, read this piece of paper, this document, but technology has helped me to be able to do this job without any great stress. I do wish that I could see people's faces better, because then I could see their expression and know maybe to, even though I hear them, know the cues so that I know whether I'm getting through to somebody, both supervisor, my staff, or the individual I work with. That's to me a loss of not being able to see someone's face and their expression. And I think that's the main thing. Everything else is able to be figured out. Everything's a challenge, but with all the technology, doing work isn't that much of a challenge, and I just love my job. I've always been resourceful. That has carried me through in finding the resources I need to stay focused, to stay forward. I have to say, though, I used to be, nobody will realize this, but when I was a kid, and somewhat as a young adult, I was shy. I didn't speak much. I have family members who, sister, brother, who were the talkers in the family, not me. No one can believe that now. And what I did, and I think it was somewhat conscious, when I came to the Carroll Center, I saw people, and I could tell by their body language a little bit. I could tell by what they said that they were sad, that they were depressed, that they were not sure what they were doing here. And I knew why I was there. I knew that I needed some skills so I could be employed. And so I used to go in every day to the fishbowl. That's a place where everyone gathered before classes. And I would force myself to say, "Hi everybody, how's today? Isn't it a great day outside?" And I would get them talking, and I'm like, I got myself out of my own shell. And I feel like the more positive you can be, the more you will actualize that positive results in your life. And so, so I just never let the obstacles of blindness or whatever get in my way. And as I said in my talk today at the ceremony, I volunteered. I volunteered a lot before I actually went back out into the workforce. And I developed skills, and I just translated those skills. Everyone has skills. They might not have been paid for it, but they will be able to use them. Transferable skills, and that is what gets people out into the workforce. And seek your resources and take advantage of them, and you will be as successful as you want to be, really. That would be my message. Stay positive. Volunteering is good. It's very good. It will get you to the next step.
Now let's hear a few words from Joe Abley, the CEO of the Carroll Center for the Blind. Joe is wearing a black suit with a light blue shirt and a red and white tie.
The Carroll Center for the Blind provides services, rehabilitation services to those that are blind and visually impaired. We serve people really from the ages of 3 to 103, all the way from kids in the public schools, all the way up to seniors in their homes. What we're known for is our on-campus rehabilitation services, run 6 to 12 weeks, that provides independent living services to the blind and visually impaired. So it runs the gamut. Adaptive device training, mobility training so people can travel independently, and things as simple as matching clothes and just learning how to live without your sight. We have very dedicated staff here. Clients are referred by the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind, the clients do it for themselves. They come here, they're ready, they work very hard, they work with our dedicated staff. And, as you saw from the presentation today, that what these folks did, they took advantage of the services that the Carroll Center for the Blind provided to them, and they leveraged them and they turned it into very successful careers. The services that get provided here, independent living, mobility, computer training, job placement, all puts people in a position so that they can be employed. 22% of the employees at the Carroll Center for the Blind are blind and visually impaired. Many in senior management are blind and visually impaired. They can do anything a sighted person can do. They really can with a skill set. One of the things that we've done, we have a job placement person here. We outreach to employers to get them interested in hiring those that are blind and visually impaired. It's education. So the people come here, they get trained, they get the skills, and they're very capable. And now that, the job is to go out and to inform the employers and get them interested. And the good news is, as we talk to employers, they're interested.
This film was created by Shubhashish Acharya and Shomita Acharya, a husband and wife team who advocate for the blind. They have also launched a social startup nonprofit called Project Starfish America. It is a platform where they teach visually impaired people to connect with mainstream businesses, to gain work experience and be productive. They can make an income and build their resume and also increase the awareness of blindness in society. The Acharya's work is a social service and they never charge money for it. If you enjoy the Acharya's films or would like to join or refer Project Starfish, please email them at star@projectstarfishusa.org. More details are available at their website, www.projectstarfishusa.org. Thank you all, and congratulations to all the award winners. And a special thanks to Joe Abley and Dina Rosenbaum of the Carroll Center for the Blind. Thank you so much for watching our film.